For the longest time, the fintech marketing playbook was, well, pretty simple. Grow, grow, grow at all costs. Just pour a bunch of money in and hopefully you get users out. But heading into 2025, that playbook is officially broken. So today, we're going to dive into a totally new strategy. It's a huge shift, really, from just buying customers to actually earning their trust for the long haul. Okay, so before we jump into the solutions, we first have to get real about why the old way is failing so badly. And it really all comes down to this massive challenge that the entire industry is facing. Some people call it the leaky bucket problem. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, look at this number. That is $23.9 million. That's what Indian fintech startups dropped on ads in a single fiscal year. I mean, that's a staggering amount of cash, right? And it's all focused on one single goal: get more users. It's like they're just pouring all that money right into the top of this bucket. But here's the kicker. While companies were spending like there was no tomorrow the money that was fueling that fire, it started to dry up fast. Global fintech investment just plummeted. We're talking from almost $250 billion in 2021 all the way down to just over $52 billion in 2023. The era of just throwing endless piles of venture capital at ads, it's over. That strategy, it's not just inefficient anymore, it's becoming literally impossible. And this number? Well, this is the giant hole in the bottom of that bucket. Almost half, 47% of all the customers you paid so much to get, they just uninstall the app. They pop in, grab a quick bonus or a discount, and then poof, they're gone. All that money you spent to get them is just draining right out the bottom. So yeah, this whole vicious cycle, spend a ton of money to get customers, then watch them leave immediately, that's what we're calling the leaky bucket problem. And it's a total recipe for disaster, for unsustainable growth. But the real question is, what's causing the bucket to be so leaky to begin with? Well, it turns out this leaky bucket isn't just about a few bad tactics. It's happening because there are 4 huge modern roadblocks that pretty much every fintech marketer is smashing into right now. Just think about these for a second. First, you've got to build trust. I mean, you're asking a pretty skeptical public to hand over their most sensitive financial data. That's huge. Second, you have to cut through all the noise in what is an insanely crowded space. Third, there's navigating all the complex regulations. It's like a legal minefield out there. And finally, you're trying to engage a really savvy audience, an audience that has super high expectations for a flawless digital experience. So whatever this new playbook is, it absolutely has to clear all 4 of these hurdles. All right, so how do we get past those hurdles? The new playbook really boils down to 2 main strategies. And the first one is all about using AI, but not just to buy more ads. It's about using it to create genuine, valuable intelligence. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, instead of churning out generic blog posts, imagine AI tools giving you personalized financial advice right when you need it. Or using generative AI to literally predict what people are going to search for, and then creating the perfect answer before they even hit enter. We're talking about personalizing the entire app experience based on how you actually use it, not just a generic profile. You could even create these incredible immersive VR simulators for investing. See, this is how you use tech to provide real value, not just more noise. But look, technology by itself isn't the whole answer. It's just a tool. The second part of this strategy, and you could argue it's even more important, gets right to the human element. It's all about building the one thing that no discount or cashback offer can ever buy: real, lasting trust. And you can see the fundamental shift in thinking right here. The old way, it was purely transactional. Here's a discount, here's some cash back, now give me your business. But the 2025 playbook, it's all relational. It's about actually focusing on a user's financial wellness. It's about aligning with their values through things like environmental and social goals, ESG. And it's about building real, small, tight-knit communities. You're making a massive shift from trying to buy attention to truly earning it. So how do you actually do that? Well, the tactics are pretty cool. You can build these content-driven community platforms where users can genuinely learn from each other. You can use tech like blockchain to be radically transparent about how you handle people's data. You can champion green finance and sustainability initiatives that really resonate with today's consumers. And instead of chasing huge celebrities, you collaborate with trusted micro-influencers, people who have real credibility, not just a giant anonymous follower account. Every single one of these tactics is like another brick in that wall of trust you're trying to build. And this quote, this just perfectly sums up the new mindset. You have to position your fintech as a partner in financial wellness rather than just a provider of tools. Think about that difference. When you're a partner, not just some faceless provider, that's when you create genuine, unbreakable loyalty. Okay, but you might be thinking, this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Well, let's look at a perfect case study. There's a company called FiMoney, and they were really struggling. They had pretty much zero organic search visibility. That means the only people finding them were the ones who were already looking for their brand by name. Not a great place to be. And they went from that to becoming a featured snippet hero. So how did they do it? Well, instead of just pouring more money into ads, they got smart. They adopted a really clever content strategy. They looked at the real questions that users were typing into Google, and then they focused all their energy on creating the single best, most helpful answer for every single one. Their goal? To become a featured snippet hero. To own that little answer box that pops up at the very top of Google's search results. And the result? Was it worth it? Oh, yeah. In just 6 months, FiMoney went from 0 featured snippets to over 15,000. Can you imagine? That drove a massive, absolutely massive explosion in their organic traffic. It is the perfect proof that providing genuine value works so much better than just paying for clicks. So let's bring this all home. That leaky bucket? It's real. And the old ways of just trying to plug the holes with more ad money, they're failing. The real playbook for 2025 and beyond is this powerful combination of AI-powered intelligence on one hand and deep human-centric trust building on the other. And that brings us to the final and most crucial question. The future of marketing isn't about buying customers anymore. It's about earning their partnership. It's that fundamental shift from a one-off transaction to a real long-term relationship. So the only question you have to ask yourself now is your strategy ready for that future?